Men who are married end up being unhappier because they've given, where on the other hand, the men who are married are just fine because they're the ones who are being taken care of. They're the ones who everybody is pouring everything into.
This is called the marriage benefit imbalance. And marriage is a very good deal for men. It's not a good deal for women. I don't know what the statistics are in same-sex marriages because I don't think it's been studied. But the question remains, who's playing the traditional role of the wife in this relationship, meaning who's overgiving, right? Who is overgiving to somebody with the hope that they will maybe give love back to them? And I think the reason that it's so hard that love addiction and sex addiction have not really gotten the prominence that alcohol and substance abuse is because, first of all, it's really working for men. It's like, it's really working for them, you know? And so I think the stories that keep being fed to girls of like, you're going to find your prince and he's going to take care of you, continually keep pushing girls and women into this dream where the reality is you're probably very likely going to end up taking care of him.
Yes. Now you write on page 35, I've caused tremendous harm to myself and others through my decades of sex and love addiction. Now, we all know that there are amazing manifestations of how this shows up in everybody's life. But for me, that sentence and the passage that follows is the fundamental reason for everything else that follows in this book. And I wanted you to read the text passage for us from page 35. Begins with, there are not a lot of women.
There are not a lot of women out there who will publicly admit to being sex and love addicts because it sounds pretty gnarly. In fact, it is gnarly. I won't get into salacious details here, but I will say that my addiction manifests as a sincere yet deeply misguided belief that somebody outside of myself will miraculously be able to heal me on the inside, thereby making me feel safe, cherished, and whole at last. In real-life terms, this translates as a desperate need to have my existence constantly authenticated and re-authenticated through a romantic partner's touch, eye contact, verbal reassurance, acts of love, or mere physical presence. My desperation to be loved is certainly outsized, and it has caused me to act out in ways that are undeniably insane. Yet I suspect that parts of my story may feel familiar to many of my readers, especially my female readers, who, like me, may have been socialized since birth to believe that they did not possess much inherent value, but were estimable only insofar as they were capable of making themselves attractive enough to be chosen. Failing to succeed in this massively important project of proving yourself worthy of being chosen meant that you were a failure, and that nothing else you ever manifested would have much significance in anybody's eyes.
Wow.
Yeah.
You believe that you suffer for what is known as process addiction. So what is that? Which is different than substance addiction, which is what Rhea was
right.
afflicted with.
So substance addictions are addictions to chemicals that you take in through alcohol, through drugs, nicotine. You know, your body becomes dependent upon these substances and you physiologically need them, legal, illegal drugs. Process addictions are addictions to certain behaviors. But what happens is that your brain chemistry actually is changed by these behaviors. And so people who, like me, may have a very insecure attachment disorder, or may have had traumatic incidences in their childhood that led them to have a lot of trouble knowing where boundaries are, or knowing who to trust, or knowing how to find safety. It's been estimated that people with process addictions get approximately 10 times amount of the hit off of various activities that other people do. So gambling is a process addiction, shopping, spending money, overeating is a process addiction, sex and intimacy and deep need for connection is a process addiction. So where you, a normal person, whatever that is, might feel some warmth and some tenderness when you have physical touch with somebody, I get high off it. Like I get a dump of oxytocin into my blood system that is so high that my system then kind of acclimates to that, and then it needs it again. And then it needs it again. And then it needs, just like any addiction, it needs a higher and higher
That's
and
what
higher
you mean
dosage.
By your need to be loved is so outsized.
So outsized.
Yeah. And
right?
falling in love for you is like a drug, because you said on page 38, I don't need alcohol and drugs to alter my consciousness, that other people might experience pleasurable sensations. I get wasted.
And I lose my judgment. I lose my dignity. And very soon it will end up with me begging. right? I'm begging, like, and I need you to look at me the way you used to look at me. I need you to touch me the way you used to touch me. I need to get high off of that, and I will do anything to stimulate that. I'll do anything. So I will give you all my money. I'll buy you presents. I'll abandon my responsibilities for you. I will throw my entire life away completely and immediately, right? So quickly, I will disappear, and I'll be looking into your face. What do you need me to be? Who do you need me to be? So that you will give me back what I just gave to you, which is all my power.
Were you
That's
this
the
way
exchange.
were you this way in your relationship with the man you married at the end of Eat, Pray, Love?
A little bit, but I want to be careful not to talk about that marriage, just out of respect to somebody who I still love so dearly. But it didn't get triggered as hard. It mostly and more gets triggered by unavailable people. And there's
Let the church say.
right.
The church went, amen. When they're
I
not
can only
available.
really get high off someone who will probably destroy me, right? Like that's a little bit of, but there's a reason for that. And I was taught this when I first came into recovery. A very wise older woman said, and you can all play this game at home. List 5 adjectives to describe your childhood. So I'll throw out creative, fascinating, cold, difficult, withholding. Now, if I meet somebody who is the description of those 5 things, that smells like home cooking to me. That's home. There's something in my nervous system that's like, oh, that's home.
Oh, somebody's withholding, you are going to be drawn to that.
100%. Creative, interesting, dangerous.
Yeah.
That just feels like home. And I think karmically what it is, to use a word, or maybe there's a psychological reason for this, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to recreate home, but this time it works.
Yeah.
Right? So
This time it's really going to be different.
And this time is the 2 favorite words of an addict. Well, this time it's going to be different because this time, and what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to control a trauma response, right?
Yeah.
So it's like if I can find somebody to play that out with who is brilliant and creative and dangerous and withholding and scary and exciting, now as adult, I'm like, well, my child self is like, well, let's now do this, but this time we're going to figure out a way that they're going to love us.
But the reason...
So then when they do, it's like the child is healed until they don't. And then we relive that trauma all over again.
The reason why All the Way to the River was such a shock to me, and I'm assuming you all too, is because we thought you, of all people, had it all figured out.
Yeah, me too.
We thought you had it all figured out.
I know.
And then to come to find out, not only did you not have it all figured out,
I didn't have any of it figured out.